picture a massive, mature oak tree. Or, maybe a towering eucalyptus right there in your front yard.
Yeah, they really are beautiful.
Right. It adds immense property value, gives you all that beautiful shade, and honestly, it's just stunning to look at. But what happens when that exact same tree, the one you've parked your car under 1,000 times, suddenly becomes a multi-ton hazard, hovering directly over your roof?
It's a terrifying shift in perspective.
It really is. Yeah.
Because one minute you have this idyllic piece of nature enhancing your property, and the next, well, you're pretty much living underneath a biological wrecking ball.
Exactly. And that is the mission for today's deep dive. We're unpacking a comprehensive set of recent guides and articles published in June and July of 2026 by John Constantine. He's an arborist out of Monte Tree Service.
Right, and he put together this amazing resource.
Yeah, we really want to understand the hidden physics, the warning signs, and the crucial protocols of emergency tree removal. Because this isn't just about landscaping, This is about protecting your home, your finances, and your family from sudden biological structural failures.
And structural failure is the perfect way to phrase it. We tend to view trees as static scenery.
Right, just part of the background.
Exactly. But Constantine's data frames them as massive biological structures, like skyscrapers made of wood that endure intense environmental stress every single second of the day.
Which is wild to think about.
It is. And the core paradox he points out in the sources is just so striking. When a tree fails, it happens in seconds. It's incredibly violent. But the structural compromises leading up to that moment, those warning signs have usually been sitting there in plain sight for months.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand how to protect your property, we first have to understand the invisible forces plotting against these massive trees. Constantine's research dives into the environmental triggers, especially out here in Southern California.
Wow.
You've got the notorious Santa Ana winds funneling through the San Gabriel Valley, just snapping weakened branches. But it's not a steady breeze, right? These winds act like a turbulent battering ram.
Wind is the catalyst, sure, but what really blew my mind in the text was the ground conditions. The real culprit is often the soil.
Wait, the soil?
Yeah. When you get those rare, incredibly intense winter rainstorms, the soil becomes deeply saturated. And from a mechanical detail in the text, this saturation actually reduces root friction.
Wait, root friction? So the roots are physically losing their grip on the dirt.
Exactly. Think about dry soil. It acts almost like concrete or like really rough sandpaper. It compresses around the root system and locks those subterranean anchors firmly in place.
Right, it holds it tight.
But when that soil is flooded with gallons of water in a short period, the water acts as a lubricant. It separates the soil particles, and the friction holding those roots drops to near zero.
Oh, wow. That makes terrifying sense. The ground literally just lets go.
It completely liquefies the anchor. This is the precise mechanical phenomenon that causes a towering pine or a giant ficus tree to just topple completely without warning.
Just uproots the whole thing.
Yeah, the tree's own immense weight works against it because the soil can't hold the leverage anymore.
But the weather is only half the battle. We also have to talk about biological sabotage. Constantine goes into internal decay, so things like fungal infections, root rot, and borers just eating away at the hardwood.
The borers are brutal.
They really are. It makes me think of a house with severe termite damage, but someone just slapped a fresh coat of paint on it. To the untrained eye, the canopy is green, it looks completely fine. But the foundation is totally gone.
That is a great analogy.
Thanks. But I have to ask, if a tree looks completely healthy on the outside, how is a homeowner supposed to know it's a hollow shell?
Well, what's fascinating here is that this is exactly why the sources emphasize the necessity of certified arborists. You need them conducting proactive seasonal inspections to spot what the untrained eye completely misses.
Because the rot is hidden.
Right. An arborist isn't just looking at the leaves. They tap the wood to listen for hollow reverberations, they analyze the bark, and they spot the microscopic decay that a normal person assumes is just, normal tree texture.
Okay, so since internal decay is hidden, we must learn to read the external physical symptoms of a failing tree before the weather takes it down.
We really do.
Let's list the urgent red flags from the source material. We've got sudden leaning, uprooted or heaving soil, and widespread fungal growth, but also deep vertical trunk cracks, which, according to the text, compromise the entire weight-bearing structure.
Yeah, a vertical crack means the pillar holding up tons of wood is actively splitting under its own weight. The structural integrity drops to basically zero.
But he also highlights this 45-degree rule, which I want to play devil's advocate on for a second.
Okay, go for it.
The text says that trying to navigate around a tree leaning at a 35-degree angle is a massive gamble. Wait, a tree leaning at 45 degrees, is that ever just a quirky way a tree grows, or is it always an immediate ticking clock?
That is a really vital distinction to make. If a tree has grown at a slight angle over decades, it built itself to naturally compensate for that load. Constantine is clarifying a very specific threat: a sudden lean.
Ah, okay. Sudden is the key word.
Exactly. If you wake up and a tree is suddenly tilting at a 45-degree angle, or the soil is lifted, that indicates catastrophic root failure.
So the anchor is already snapped.
Right. It is currently falling. It just hasn't hit the ground yet. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there's a really surprising adjacent threat from the text.
Oh, about the overgrown trees near the house.
Yes. Overgrown trees causing clogged gutters. It's this crazy chain reaction. Excessive leaves clog your gutters,
Yes,
right?
that happens all the time.
Then the heavy rains come, the water pushes straight down the siding of the house, and it pulls constantly around the foundation.
And water is just relentless.
Completely relentless. Over time, that causes severe structural foundation cracks. The tree never even touched the house, but neglecting it still wrecked the foundation.
It really is all connected. So we know why they fall and how to spot the signs. But what happens the moment a tree actually comes down? The sources provide a rigorous breakdown of threat levels, and here's where it gets really interesting. Let's walk through this matrix.
Yeah, the logistics of the response are fascinating.
So first, routine pruning, which is a low threat. The response time is 1 to 3 weeks using handsaws and pole pruners. Then you step up to dead tree removal, a moderate threat. Response is 2 to 5 days, and it requires standard bucket trucks and haul trailers.
Because dead wood is highly unpredictable and brittle, so it takes more care.
Right. But then we hit fallen tree on driveway, which is a high threat. Response is 2 to 12 hours. Now they need heavy-duty chainsaws and a skid steer. Blocking first responders is a massive hazard.
A massive hazard. You can't just drag a wet, multi-ton log with a pickup truck. You need heavy, earth-moving equipment.
Which brings us to the severe threat: tree on roof or power line. This is an immediate ASAP response. They need cranes, specialized rigging, utility coordination.
You're basically performing structural surgery on a crushed house while it's still under active load.
And this is exactly why the text emphasizes that homeowners must never try to clear a fallen tree themselves. The danger of DIY here is extreme.
It is lethal. Constantine specifically warns about the hidden mechanics. He talks about kinetic energy, tension, and compression wood mechanics.
Let me make sure I'm getting this right. It's like a giant loaded mousetrap. When a tree falls and gets tangled, it's bent under massive stress, right? So cutting the wrong limb can cause the whole trunk to roll or snap back or just drop suddenly.
That is a perfect visualization. The kinetic energy is trapped inside the wood. If you cut the tension side of a bent branch first, it releases instantly.
And a 2-ton log just drops right on top of you.
Precisely.
Is this why the text specifically warns against people deploying their own tarps over shattered windows?
Yes, that instinct makes sense. You want to keep the rain out, but the rule is strict. Never approach a shattered window to place a tarp unless you are absolutely certain all overhead canopy hazards are neutralized.
Because if one branch broke the window, the canopy above is already compromised.
Exactly. You step out to save your carpet and you put yourself directly in the drop zone of that loaded mousetrap. A secondary fall is often what causes the worst injuries.
That is chilling. So knowing the physical danger, how exactly should you navigate the chaotic first hours after a crash, especially regarding finances? Let's outline the step-by-step survival protocol from the source.
First, keep all family and pets indoors.
And if the canopy is tangled in wires,
Treat every tangled wire as a live power line. Call the utility immediately. Don't go near it.
and finally, document the damage with your smartphone from a safe distance for insurance.
Right. Taking photos from a safe distance is crucial.
Let's talk about the insurance reality, because there is this fascinating homeowners insurance FAQ from that text. I have a major question about this.
Okay, shoot.
So what does this all mean for your wallet? If a massive eucalyptus narrowly misses my garage and lands perfectly in my empty yard, is the insurance company really just going to shrug and not cover the cleanup?
In standard policies, yes. They will confirm that vital detail. Standard policies typically only cover removal if the tree damages a covered structure, like your house or your detached garage.
Wait, seriously? I just dodged a bullet and they won't pay for it.
You dodged a physical bullet, but caught a financial one. An empty yard fall might not be covered at all. The insurance company views it as a landscaping issue.
A landscaping issue. It's a 10-ton log blocking my yard.
I know, but because it didn't hit the insured structure, you are entirely responsible for the cleanup costs. This raises an important question about how homeowners view the risk-reward of regular maintenance.
Yeah, making prevention infinitely cheaper than a lucky miss. Which brings us to proactive armor. Because emergency removal is highly dangerous and financially precarious, the ultimate solution is engineering your landscape to survive the extremes.
Exactly. You have to fortify the landscape before the storm hits.
The tech's primary preventative measure is routine canopy thinning and proper weight distribution. I really love the science behind this. It's like aerodynamic streamlining for a race car.
That's exactly what it is.
By removing dense overgrowth, you reduce wind resistance. It allows the heavy Santa Ana gusts to pass right through the branches rather than pushing against them like a solid sail.
It takes so much pressure off the roots. And to synthesize the scientific benefits of this maintenance, it does three huge things. First, it prevents the fungal diseases associated with trapped moisture in dense canopies.
Right, it lets the tree breathe.
Second, it physically prevents heavy limbs from snapping under their own mass. And third, it legally protects the homeowner.
Oh, against liability claims.
Yes, or insurance claim denials caused by neglected branches. Documented routine maintenance is your shield.
We have covered an incredible amount of ground today. We've gone from the invisible forces of saturated soil and internal rot right through the strict triage matrix of heavy-duty chainsaws and cranes.
And the crazy physics of compression wood.
Yeah. Exactly. All the way to the aerodynamic science of canopy thinning. And really, this knowledge transforms the way you look at your own neighborhood. It empowers you to protect your property and act decisively when the weather turns violent.
It's true.
You aren't just passively hoping the trees stay up anymore.
Knowledge really is the best defense here. And I want to leave everyone with a final thought to ponder. We spend so much time installing security cameras and alarm systems to protect our homes from outside threats, right?
No, constantly.
But what if the most unpredictable threat to your property isn't human at all, but the quiet, towering biological structures we park our cars under every single day? Next time the wind kicks up, take a second look at the giants in your yard.
A sobering reminder to check on the nature sharing our space. Stay curious, everyone, and stay safe out there.